Hey, these brothers, man, about to go do some hiking this morning, man. I just wanted to fellowship with my brothers for 5 minutes or so, man. On my way at the door, man, I was thinking about something. I was thinking about a pet peeve of mine, man. And a pet peeve of mine, man, is I can't stand a person, especially a man. I can't stand a man that either blames or complains about everything. You know what I'm saying? What I mean by that is everything that comes in his life, every situation that keeps presenting itself over and over. When a man says, you know what, this is happening in my life because of this source or this person or this entity, right? And what it comes down to, man, is a man must at some point understand that, you know, there's something jacked up with his recipe, man. Like, in order to fix the problems, a man must understand that, hey, you know what? I have to identify the bullshit that's in my recipe. And when I say your recipe, meaning everything that comes our way is because of our own potion. It's because of our own actions, our own thoughts, our own beliefs, our own behaviors, our demeanor, our own everything, man. That's what everything is based off of. So if something is coming your way and you aren't liking it, especially if you're seeing it over and over and over, it simply comes down to your recipe being jacked up, bro. So I'm saying you have to find, before you complain, before you point the finger, before you start whining, you have to find the bullshit that's in your recipe, man. Yo, it makes me think about, man, my mom, man, it's probably been about a year ago now. My mom one day just out of the blue, man, started cooking these tea cakes. And if y'all know what tea cakes are, man, like as my mom explained it to me, man, like when they were young, you couldn't go to the store and get Oreos and Chips Ahoy and all that stuff. So my grandmother used to make these tea cakes. And when I was little, I remember my grandma used to make them, man. But, man, it's probably been 30 plus years since I had one. And my mom just started, out of the blue, just started cooking them about a year ago, man. And I remember when I tasted it, brother, you talking about nostalgia. You talking about a time capsule, man. It took me back in time to back when I was, you know, a little dude, man. And it's just crazy how that much time had passed, but since my mom used the exact same ingredients, the exact same measurement to produce those two tea cookies, they taste the exact same. Now, if she would have sprinkled a little bit of paprika or oregano in some cookies, it would have been some bullshit came out of that, right? It would have been something completely different. So that's what I'm saying, man. You have to understand what recipe you're cooking with if you're getting bullshit. You got to identify what that is. You know, I talked about this. I probably talked about this a couple of times, man, where I said, man, you know what? When I got my first job, I was getting paid, I want to say $5.25 an hour, right? Fast forward to some years later, when I first hit that 6-figure mark, I was probably about a year deep, but I looked around and I said, man, why is my life the same? What, like, as far as like my savings? My savings account looks just like it did when I was a 16-year-old boy, and now I'm making all this money. I had to say there's something wrong with my recipe, bro. Like the ingredients I'm cooking with, I had to one day say, you know what, it's jacked up. And I had to look at myself. I had to look at, hey, man, why is it at Christmas I got so many gifts up under the tree? Why am I doing all these things for all these people? Why am I finding ways to get rid of money? Why am I going to buy things that I can't afford? It was my truth. It was my recipe. So that's what I'm saying, brothers. Wherever your life is jacked up at, man, identify what your recipe is, man. Even if this, I'll say this, man. Like I hear a lot of women talking about like the relationship. Like I'm trying to think, like, for example, like a lot of women will say, hey, man, you know, like my son's or my daughter's father, they want to have nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. And I'm gonna tell you this, man, the quickest way for me to lose respect for a man, quickest way, is a man that doesn't take care of his seed. Because of course you want to do everything you can for your son or daughter. You want to buy them the nicest things. You want to buy them, you know, cars when they get old enough. You want to help them, you know, whatever, you know, you want to do all that stuff. But if you can't even go take your son and daughter, you know, to the park and walk around and just spend time, brother, some of y'all got to look inside of yourself and ask yourself, what's wrong with me, man? Like y'all really do, bro. And I know a lot of y'all men, I know for a fact a lot of y'all men know that something is wrong because you'll be around men that take care of their kids. And I know something in you is saying, you know what, man, I ain't talked to my son or daughter, man, in 6 months. And they a growing teen. I ain't spent no time, no communication. And you get around brothers that's moving different and you're questioning things. You got to check your recipe, bro. You got to go back in time and say, you know what? Was pops there for me? Was moms there for me? Like, where did this come from? In other words, what in the hell am I cooking with? What am I cooking with, man? I'm telling you, man, when life is jacked up, all you have to do is check the ingredients you're cooking with, bro. This applies to everything. Relationships, man. I had to recently check my recipe. Y'all know the goddamn story. You know, it's one thing because I always say this. I always say, you know what, man, around 2020, give or take a year, like I really went through some healing, man. I really went through a period where I say, you know what, I kind of understand, not even kind of, like I really understand the dynamic and the power of a man and a woman coming together now. Like my whole life, wasn't really sure, but I understood the power of it now. I understand why the world doesn't want men and women coming together. Trust me, it's a powerful thing. So I went through a stage of healing, but I came out of that stage of healing, but I didn't change the shit I was cooking with. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still somewhat getting the same result. So, you know, so again, it ain't about, it's one thing to have a level of understanding, but you still got to audit what's in the goddamn cupboard, man. You still got to audit the shit that you're attracted to, or you still got to audit the trauma. You might can forgive certain things in your past, with this money, with this, you know, whatever it is, but you still got to see what you're cooking with, man. So all I'm saying is this, brothers. Check your cupboards. Check your recipes. See what it is you're cooking with. Because if life is doing a certain thing, man, the last thing a man should do is get upset and get mad. A man simply has to sit there and say, you know what? Okay, you know what? I understand first off who I am. So I understand that the power that I have is that the way I move, the way I think, the way I conduct myself is what's coming in my life. The way I think, that's what's coming in my life. And if situations are coming in my life, finances, health, relationships, you name it. You name it. It's not that the world is jacked up. It's not that the government hates you. It's not that the man wants to see you down. It's that you cooking with bullshit, man. There's one or two ingredients in your recipe that's throwing everything off. That's throwing everything off. So again, like I always say, man, to resolve that, to fix that, brothers, it's an inside job, bro. It's an inside job. It takes a person doing the work. It takes a man being honest with himself. It takes a man being accountable. It takes a man making every attempt to find his fault. Damn, what'd I put in that? I must have put some extra lime juice in that thing. That thing had a 15-second delay. Like some ripple or something. It takes a man being accountable and going inside and identifying those things inside of him that's bringing those unfavorable results in his life. It's a no-brainer. It's an inside job. So all I'm saying is this. Don't be one of those people, man, that are going around talking about why everything is happening to you, why you're a victim, what mom and daddy them did when you was in the second grade, what these girls did in your life when you was young, what these women did in your life when you were older. All women are like that. All men are like that. Don't be one of those people, man. Understand who you are. Understand your power. Understand that everything that's coming your way is generated based off of you. Like I always say, man, when you wake up in the morning, 95% of the people wake up in the morning, man, they stretching and yawning, they cutting the TV on, they cutting the radio on, they cutting YouTube on, and they're listening to what the world is telling them to do. They're listening to what the latest podcast is telling them to do. They're listening to what the latest gossip is telling them how to conduct themselves. When the whole time the world is listening to us. The world is listening to us. When you get out and put your feet on the ground, the world is saying, tell me what I need to give you today. Tell me who you are. Tell me what I need to put in your path. Tell me what I need to give you. And if you want to wake up and say, oh yeah, man, god dang, don't nobody want me to get this bag. I'm trying to get this money, man, but the government won't let me do XYZ. Women keep doing XYZ. If mom and daddy wouldn't have did all this back when I was 2 years old, I wouldn't have to deal with it. Quit doing that shit, man. Like that shit is healthy for about 5 seconds. That shit is healthy for about 5 to 10 seconds when you get to identifying the things that created your recipe. Right? Like you got to look in the past and identify. You got to call a spade, of course. But you can't sleep in that energy, man. You can't sleep there. You can't even spend one night there. Identify what it is, put that backpack on, and travel that path, bro. And start healing yourself. Start healing yourself, man. You know, a lot of people, you know, even when it comes to healing yourself, like a lot of people will, I'll say that for another video. I need to get on this trail, man. Y'all have a good day, man. Y'all have a good Monday, brothers.